What's up, YouTube? This is Swad from Hebrew Legends, and I am bringing you guys some replays today from our war against the True Sons. Um, just ended yesterday. It was an excellent war. I think if anybody caught the stream, Fergal was streaming it. Lots of great attacks on both sides. This was an arranged war, and I'll probably make a note about that because that took a little bit of doing from both clans. So the True Sons had an extra Town Hall 10, but no real 9/5s. So their closest thing to a 9/5 is Bacon Donut, who, as you may or may not know, is a defenseless max Town Hall 10. So aside from the defenses and the walls and whatnot, but max troops. So we counted him as a 9.5, but he's not weighted. He's weighted more like a Town Hall 7. So we brought, in order to match them, a Town Hall 7, just a mini account of one of our members, and then the True Sons allotted us 2 extra 9.5s. So we ended up with 6 Town Hall 10s, 3 9.5s, and they had 7 Town Hall 10s in Bacon Donut. So when it came down to it, because we had to bring a Town Hall 7, we were down overall 1 attack, but had a couple extra Town Hall 10 attacks. So it seemed to work out okay. They had a couple extra Town Hall 10 defenses, so it evened out pretty well. I wanted to show some replays of the True Sons first to just give them a shout out because it was, they had some great attacks. We tend toward, in Hebrew Legends, I think, possibly from my doing more than anything, we tend towards hog attacks. But the True Sons brought some incredible Laloon attacks at Town Hall 9 that are absolutely worth showing, and I didn't want the replays to go to waste. And I want to show the first one to kick us off against me. Because we're kind of, I guess I would say, hog-centered at Hebrew Legends. More than Laloon-centered, maybe. At least recently. We tend to build bases to defend against hog attacks, and they turned out to be rather susceptible to particular type of Laloons. Specifically, the True Sons brought a very potent cold-blooded Laloon, which was just shredded us. So let me show you guys this attack on my base. This is a base I built just before the war. And Boss Havoc just destroys me. Oh, it's a little embarrassing, but it's such a good attack. I had to show it. So he's just making a funnel with some minis here, which is wonderful. Anytime you can do that and you don't need the wizards, it's always a nice thing. Nothing. There we go. Cold-blooded goes down. And this is just something I just didn't think about, building bases, but just excellent planning. And this is a first attack, so he wrecks me without a scout, not knowing trap positions or anything. Golem goes in. King gets ahead of the Golem there, which is not a great thing, but obviously it didn't matter that much. So his King goes down really early. His Queen very nearly went down, but he phased her just in time. Lightninged my CC. I had a couple Valks in there to try to mess with people, but it didn't work out so well. But all he had to do was take care of an air defense and my Archer Queen in the CC with that Golem. And then it's pretty much a 3-star as long as he paths his loons right. But he even has his Golem still up tanking for his Queen. So they are going to continue to do work throughout the raid. But here come the Hounds, soaking up those bombs. First one's already popped. Second one comes in to continue tanking. He rages those loons, and they're going to path, as you can see, right through. Hound comes all the way through the base. Third Hound follows in. Loons behind. Here comes the last Hound with the rest of the loons. And I mean, you can just see that 3 rage spells. Actually, no, he only had 2 rage spells, didn't he? Just 2 rages, but man, he just beat the hell out of me. Still has a hound, half health, and man, I don't know, 7, 8 loons there. just destroys me. That's a beautiful attack, boss. Thanks for showing me how weak my base is to that type of attack. Need a new one, quite clearly. I'm going to show a couple more for the True Sons. They had some good hog attacks as well, but really their cleanest attacks were these cold-blooded Laloons. They were just really well done. This is one against Campy, who's also... He was known as Jan. He changed his name a little while back. This is by Ben Wade, who I think had a perfect war. So, congrats to you, man. Again, just creating the funnel with some minis. Cold-blooded goes down. Minis on the other side. Queen to clear some of that middle trash. Bombers go in. He actually loses one there. So doesn't quite break the wall, but king comes in early to finish the job, which is just, it's what you got to do sometimes. Jump spell goes down. Jan had an interesting CC, 3 loons and a witch, so he gets the witch. No trouble there. Queen is going to clean up those loons, but they do a number on that golem. She phases the queen. I'm sorry, he phases the queen. And there's a standoff here, and his queen goes down. So I just want to point something out. He didn't get the air defense. He didn't get the AQ. All he traded was both heroes and some minions and a golem for the CC kill, basically. Right? So Jan still has 4 air defenses and the AQ up. Both Expos. He got a wizard tower and an archer tower, I think, basically. But he's like, okay, I just got to do the rest of the raid. Hounds come in. Loons. And the pathing on these loons, the defense pathing isn't great. They're going to lead them perfectly into the center here to path through. He's only got 2 rages. Here come the other 2 hounds that slid through, that were deployed on the bottom. Rages in the center and gets those loons pathing through behind the hounds. These loons take out this air defense. 1 hound still alive comes over, and he's got 2 loons on this expo. Even rewatching this raid, I've seen this raid like 3 times now, I think. I still don't believe this. If you didn't catch it, he had a couple hounds that popped, and their pups under rage took out the rest of the AQ. But just incredible. We could not believe this watching this live. This was, I mean, it was just perfect loon pathing by Ben Wade, not taking anything away from him. It was just great attack. And to keep your composure when you don't get the queen or an air defense, and to still pull the 3 is an amazing feat. So nice job, man. Let's look at the attack on Ben. This will be the last one I'll show. Sorry I'm not showing anything but cold-blooded Laloon, but they had some great cold-blooded Laloon attacks and wanted to show them. Golem, minis, same exact thing they're doing. Okay. King is now in. Again, a bit of a wall breaker fail there. So King gets ahead of the golem. So everything's headed toward him. He's going to get a swipe on the queen. Takes her out. Then he goes down pretty quickly to all those CC troops. But his AQ is just sitting under this rage and picking away, doing work while CC troops destroy that golem. But he's already gotten the air defense, got the AQ, so no problems. Hounds, and you can see the loon pathing here. It's good. Right into the center. Next hounds go right in. And one of these hounds didn't even go down. I don't remember where this air defense was here, but that he didn't have a hound go down on that first one, so he had both move over. And so instead of having to put 2 on the next one, he only put 1 and then dropped the 1 on the last air defense, which soaked up some mines and did some nice stuff there. Just kept him raged all the way through. As, you know, beats down the base. This is absolutely something. Cold-Blooded Laloon is kind of even bases that you can't surgical hog necessarily. Cold-Blooded Laloon is one of those things you should look at if you're comfortable with Laloon. A lot of our guys still trying to do Shattered Laloon in this war and didn't have a lot of success with it because that's very commonly defended. Now that hogs are being more commonly defended, a lot of the time just because of the way base building works, you end up with an AD and the AQ nearby and approachable with only 1 golem. So absolutely think about that. Add that to your repertoire. True Sons absolutely have it in there. Nice job, fellas. Okay, showed a few of their replays, but to the victors go the spoils. So we're going to do a fair number of replays from our side as well. I was originally going to do a showcase for this war, but a couple of the guys in the clan said they appreciated the commentary, so I thought I would include that. I'll try to speed it up a bit. This is an attack from Luba on their number 12. It is a I don't know what to call it. It's I'm going to call it a Shattered Go Hope. It's crazy. This is a cleanup attack. It's insane. Golems, funnel breaking, bombs them in. Jump spell goes down. This guy had a golem in his CC, which was crazy. Kind of foiled the first raid, but once you know it's in there, it's not as troublesome as you'd think. Luba brings a P.E.K.K.A. to deal with it. So based on the AQ position, right, she's not going to jump over this wall here, which is what a jump gets you into, generally speaking. But Luba knows that a perfectly placed jump, which his is, extends roughly 7 spaces, 6.5 to 7 spaces. So he's actually going to get more work out of his king than normally you'd think you could. So his king jumps in here, takes care of this king with that P.E.K.K.A. And then he's going to rage his king, and that king is going to utilize the jump spell then and jump over to the queen. We have a video on that. It's called Extending the Jump Spell. Absolutely go check it out if you haven't seen it. Definitely worth watching. You can get a lot more use out of jump spells and your king in a deep base like that. So Luba with a great heads-up play there. Normally you'd have to bring 3 golems to tank while that happened, but wasn't necessary that time. Kind of an Asian wall down here, healed on the first giant bomb, I think, which he knew was there from the first attack, and just knows, based on the scout, that the pathing is going to take him all the way around. He trips a double giant bomb initially with his kill squad, and then heals the other 2 positions, and that's it. Your hogs are going to do the rest. And it is all cleanup. Great attack, Luba. Really like the P.E.K.K.A. It's kind of a nice. I mean, it helped take out the golem really quickly, but it also helped kind of act as a third golem to make sure your heroes got in there and did the work they needed to do. So, nice composition. Pretty unique. Let's look at AC's attack on their number 14. This is a Shattered Surgical. Does it in about 2 minutes. It's great. Golems going down, whizzes behind. Usual stuff for surgical. He's got maxed heroes, really bulky. So he gets a lot of use out of those, a lot of mileage out of those those heroes. Golems are in. Lure comes out, brings a lightning. This guy had wizards and a Valkyrie. Decent lightning. Not much you can do. Those wizards kind of split on him, so it is what it is. King goes in there, takes out the queen. Queen working on her gold storage over there. There's a hero battle happening right in front of her, but she doesn't want any part of it. And here comes the deployment. Great first giant. Good giant here as well. Third one, fourth one, and just obviously Hogs followed it up. And heals on the second layer. Hits a double bomb, just unlucky pathing there, but has a heal on the second set there, one at a time, and look at all those Hogs. Got 10 to 12 easily. Cleanup troops all around. Wizzy down there as well. Just wrecks it. Nice job, AC. It is funny how we had way more hog attacks than we did at Laloons, I think. And they had more Laloons than we had hogs. And I think, I've already said this, but I just think it probably has to do with the fact that they use Laloon more and so are very active about defending against Laloon, and we use hogs more and are apt about defending against hogs. And you end up building bases that are susceptible to the opposite strategy without knowing it. So it's kind of funny how that works. Here is a cold-blooded Laloon. Minions breaking the funnel, queen behind. Golem, he's going to wall break that in as soon as the mortar hits here. Perfect. And he brought a lightning for the CC. And this is a first attack. So when he sees here that the CC has two Wizzies, a dragon, and a minion, he kind of forgets to use that lightning on the wizards. And he's like, oh no, I can't use the lightning. There's a dragon. But in hindsight, he leaves, right after his battle. He's like, why didn't I use the lightning on the wizards? They killed my king. And but queen just takes out the enemy AQ. Phases her, takes out the dragon. She moves on, and she is just out of range of this Expo and this Archer Tower at both instances. So she's just going to take out that AD, and he starts his raid. 2 lavas on the first, couple loons. These loons could have been dropped earlier, obviously. They got a lot of time in the air, and they forced one of these loons to split and didn't work out as well. The pathing could have been a tad cleaner there. These loons fly right in. Hound comes across. They're going to pop almost at the same time. Final hound comes in. Tesla here messed up his loon pathing in the south, but it didn't matter. He's got only one hound up, but a whole lot of loons. But that wizard tower wrecks most of his loons. That wizard Tesla combo. And his hound is not going to pop, but one of the reasons I wanted to show this attack was because Candelario was in Hebrew Legends for a while. So Jan was pretty happy that he that he 3-starred him. Cand had a good war though too, so no harm, no foul there. Let's look at Heisenberg on their number 20. It's a cleanup attack. Shattered surgical. It's beautiful. I would just like to point out here that he just dropped his golems. And there's a minute 37 on the clock. So he destroys the space, no question. Extra Wizzies. And I can't remember if I talked to Heis about this base. I may have talked to him. I can't remember. So this is we had the leader of Halo, who I did a Traveler video on previously, hit this base first. Drew up a plan coming from this side, jumping here basically, I think, and coming in for the queen, and doing surgical on the rest. And I think Highs then, saw the amount of storages that were up here, high health buildings, and realized, okay, I'm never going to get through there. Let's just shatter from the south, and we can bomb into this first layer and then jump into the second layer, which was a great follow up. Knew at that point there was a dragon as well, so brings a rage for the drag instead of the lightning that Rob brought initially. And sometimes those are just things like your first attack is occasionally destined to fail in that way. Too many variables you don't know about, trap location, CC composition, and on difficult bases like this, it's hard to get that 3 on the first try. Things have to go really well, and a lot of guesswork has to happen correctly, but Highs here cleaning up and doing it in under a minute 40. I think this is faster than any surgical I've ever done. I've had a couple similarly swift, I guess, but minute 37? I don't think I've ever had one that fast. Nice job, man. Has a giant left over, has a hog left over. Didn't even use all of his troops. I mean, heroes are both up. Just smashes the base. And he effectively negated this double giant bomb set, if you can see there, as well, with his kill squad, which was just excellent. I'm only going to show one more attack. This video's gone on long enough, probably. It's by Live X Prodigy. He's new. We just pulled him up from the feeder for the war, but he's here to stay. Great attacker. Minion, funnel breaking, per usual. Shatter goes down here. Wizzy's following up. Big line of trash. I mean, he takes out one whole section of the base doing this. One whole side. Live's got pretty mini heroes compared to the 19 and 15 King and Queen. But doesn't bother him too much. Lightning's a CC, no problem. Rages his king early, tries to get him into there to the queen, but he can't quite get there. Golems are tanking both of these heroes, and these two Wizzies and this queen just end up cleaning up the rest of it. Actually, this queen doesn't do anything per usual. It's just those Wizzies, so MVP Wizzies there. The rest is just a surgical. One giant spreads his hogs. Another giant tanks for the next group of hogs. Good first heal. I think I probably would have put it just a little bit over here just to try to get these hogs in it, but you end up healing a Golemite, which is not bad. Love this one single balloon for this Wizard Tower. Wizard Tower at the end of a hog raid, just like at the end of a Laloon raid, can mess you up if they end on a giant bomb and a Wizard Tower. Never a good thing. So it brings one loon for it, and it does good work for him. These hogs double back, split up. He's got a giant here. Wizards. Drops one extra bomber that he had. But, I mean, you can see this. His base looks like he has chicken pox. He's got cleanup troops everywhere. Pretty cool. This does it in about 2 minutes. Beautiful attack, Live. Welcome to Legends, man. It's the big leagues. You belong here. I want to actually do one more. The final about 10 minutes of this war was crazy. They had about 8 attacks. We had 4 attacks left, and trying to figure out who needed to hit where on both sides. And this was the final attack of the war. Clifford on their number 6, Biz, who's I think one of their leaders, and 10 seconds left on the war clock, and Cliff attacks. We were waiting. We weren't sure if we were going to need him to go for a 2-star, and he was going to adjust his strategy accordingly, but he just goes for it all. It was tied 80-80 with 10 seconds left in war, and Cliff says, screw it, I'm going for 3. Ended up, I think, gemming a hound because he had extra loons prepping for 2 or something. But here he comes. Shattered Laloon. These Wizzies are wonderful. Making a huge funnel for him. Alright, so there's the jump spell. Clever jump spell. Lets him into this AD, that Inferno, and the CC. Love these 3 hogs down here. Only brings 3 hogs because there's only 2 things shooting him. Well, I guess that mortar too, but, 3 hogs will take out an air defense, only getting shot by 1 point defense every single time. Got his king in there, raged him. Queen's going to take out the Inferno. King goes ahead and kills the queen. Again, love the approach. Beautiful jump spell coming in this way. Ends up getting an Inferno, an AD, and the queen all in a line. Here comes the Laloon portion. Hounds are in. Balloons follow. Love the pathing on this. Just beautiful, per usual from Cliff. He's just... he's at another level. Loons. 2 loons for this final wizard tower. If you've seen, or if you haven't seen Cliff's How to Laloon video on the channel, absolutely go watch it because this is what's possible. You got a hound up, you've got over 10 loons-ish left, queen over half health, cleanup troops all around. Beautiful way to end the war, man, and get us the win. He only needed a 1 star, but didn't know that really. There was still an attack going on one of our Town Hall 10s, so he says, you know what, I'm just going for the 3. Oh, ending it with a bang. Shout out again to the True Sons. You guys had incredible bases, great players all around. You guys have heard, I'm sure, of Boaz. He does a podcast, Clash of Clans podcast. Go check that out. But again, great war, guys. Really well fought on both sides. Really proud of us. Tough war. We should have more of these matched wars coming in the future, so stay tuned for those recaps because they promise to be just as epic. But until next time, guys, this is Swide from Hebrew Legends. You guys have a good one.